What's up, bitch? Sorry. Gotta find my own niche, Gotta figure it out, Tell me if that's a good intro. Probably isn't. We'll never get monetized if I do that, but who cares? Let's go! Today we got a video. Super excited. I'll tell you in the next clip, but basically, just ask you, please subscribe, like, everything helps the channel, and recommend shit if you want me to react to that. But yeah, get the hell out of here. All right, we're reacting to You Don't Realize How Genius the Joker's Introduction Is. Okay. So this is obviously Heath Ledger. Rest in peace. Genuinely. He was one of my favorite Jokers. It's really, I love his performance in this movie. So I'm excited to see this. The introduction is pretty sick, so let's dive in.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
This is the culmination of one of the greatest opening scenes in modern cinema. A single line of dialogue delivered by the Joker, right during the moment he reveals his face. What Christopher Nolan did with this opening scene is quite literally engineer a magic trick. Think about it. Every stage of the robbery removes information from both the characters and the audience. The circle keeps narrowing. One clown disappears, then another, until eventually there's only one man left standing. And the reveal of the trick is Nolan telling the audience the Joker's philosophy and the central theme of the film itself: chaos. Nolan once summarized his Batman trilogy through three core themes: fear, chaos, and pain, and The Dark Knight is that middle chapter, entirely consumed by chaos, entirely driven by the Joker. This opening scene is its declaration, and Nolan wastes no time visually communicating that idea with the very first shot of the scene.
So I heard a lot of people who were like a lot of the actors, they hadn't seen Heath Ledger in all the makeup, and like in character. They'd never seen him until they're seeing that they're with him. So they're like super freaked out when they do see him, genuinely freaked out. They're like, oh my God, what? This guy's freaky. So that's kind of cool.
Shot of this film. We get a wide aerial shot. The camera glides over Gotham's skyline, slowly pushing towards an all-glass building. It feels epic, smooth, controlled, and the shot actually lasts 20 seconds, which is saying something for the opening image of a modern blockbuster. Nolan is lulling the audience into a sense of cinematic...
So I've seen a blooper before where this is a helicopter filming this, or there's a camera in the helicopter. When they go close to this this building right here, you're gonna actually see the helicopter. I wonder if he's gonna show that.
Ability. After decades of watching films, we instinctively know the grammar of a shot like this. It's an establishing shot, showing a building before we
should be on the left.
Cut into it.
But yeah. The helicopter right here. That's it. That's funny.
Instead, we get this. What we're expecting is interrupted. It's chaotic. The film has just begun, and Nolan is already telling the audience to expect the unpredictable, to expect chaos. And what's interesting is the reflection of Gotham in the glass. The chaotic explosion leaves a hole ripped straight through the middle of the city itself. Now, I know this is a stretch, and I highly doubt Nolan intended it, but it's the perfect visual representation of what the Joker is about to do to Gotham over the course of the film. We cut inside the room. We see the grapple hook and two men in clown masks. Just two shots and we know these men are following a well thought out plan. Economic filmmaking that's moving the story forward at lightning speed. And then we cut to this famous shot. Now this is actually one of 3 times Nolan introduces the Joker in this opening scene. And even though we technically don't know it's him yet, Nolan is already cluing us in, much like a magician telling an audience what the trick will be before performing it. The figure is positioned practically dead center in the frame, immediately implying importance. The camera begins low, looking up at him, giving him a sense of authority, the man in control, and the camera slowly dollies forward, matching the same movement that opened the film. It visually links him to that opening shot, almost as if Nolan is quietly telling us that all of this chaos stems from this one figure, that this is the man to pay attention to. We slowly push tighter onto the mask itself. We can't see the man in frame, he has his back to us, but symbolically his face is staring directly at us. He knows something.
How is this guy just standing there and he's in all makeup and everything? No one's like, dude, what? And he's got a duffel bag. And he's near a bank. How's that not suspicious? Like, he legitimately has makeup on right now. And then he's holding this mask.
We don't. Just as it feels like something is about to be revealed to us, a pickup truck enters frame, and instead the figure puts the mask on and climbs into the vehicle. We cut back to the other goons as they grapple hook their way across to the adjacent building, and something very clever Nolan begins here throughout this sequence is intercutting between the two men on the roof and the three on the ground floor. The intercutting keeps the momentum moving forward, but it's also drip-feeding the audience little pieces of information. Again, much like a magic trick, we're constantly trying to build a full picture of what's going on, but we can't. Look here, now look here. Now this is our second introduction to the Joker, and this time it's done orally, speaking to the mythology surrounding the man. We're told there are 5 men involved in the robbery, while the 6th, the Joker, the man behind the plan, is supposedly sitting it out.
He thinks he can sit it out and still take a slice. I know why they call him the Joker.
We get a profile 2 shot of the robbers in the front seat, while the Joker sits recessed deep in the background, squeezed into the far edge of the frame. Technically he's right there in front of us, but visually Nolan keeps him peripheral. Like a magic trick, it's misdirection. The trick is right in front of us. We cut back to the guys on the roof and get a little bit more dialogue building the mystery surrounding the Joker.
I heard he wears makeup. Makeup? Yeah, to scare people. You know, war paint.
We cut back to the 3
Yeah, I
dudes.
heard he wears makeup. Like, almost like the guy that we picked up on the road right here. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, now that you think about it.
On ground level entering the bank. The shot moves the narrative forward, but visually it's telling us to pay attention to the man with the duffel bag. He's framed as the central figure, and the low camera angle gives him a subtle sense of control and importance over the situation about to unfold. And that sense of control continues when the goons enter the bank. Nolan doesn't use handheld camera to make the robbery feel unstable like so many bank heist scenes do. We're not trapped in tight close-ups, we don't feel suffocated, we're not on edge feeling like this could collapse at any second. Nolan does the opposite. The camera is smooth, controlled, stable. We get wide shots and complete clarity of the situation unfolding. He lets the goons own the space. The camera language is telling us this plan is going off without a hitch, which ultimately speaks to the architect behind it, i.e. the Joker.
Hey! Stay in the video! Alright? Focus! Don't leave!
But
Oh,
now
I love
Nolan-
that scene. So that scene, I'm going to keep pausing it, I'm sorry. That scene, he does that. That is actually improv. He improvised that. They're talking, I think it's like, it was Commissioner Gordon gets promoted, right? Because the other commissioner just got killed by the Joker. And everyone's talking to him, and in the background you just hear clapping. They pan to him and he's just doing that. That's improv. Dude, Heath Ledger's the GOAT.
Begins revealing the real architecture behind the man who planned this robbery. One goon kills another the moment he's completed what he needed to do. Then that goon is killed by another after serving his purpose. And we learn the man behind the plan, the Joker, instructed them to do it under the guise of a bigger share. It's planned chaos. As far as we know, the Joker isn't even present, yet through the structure of the robbery, we're learning a lot about him. We get our first real obstacle to the plan, the bank manager. And for a brief moment it feels like he's overpowering the robbery itself. Nolan frames him low and dead center of frame, giving him a huge sense of authority, and then has him charging directly towards camera, physically pushing the frame backwards. His walk even ends with a shot of him walking into a close-up, a shot usually reserved for characters taking control of a scene or asserting dominance within it. This is all to contrast how he's about to be dispatched. Our 2 remaining goons take cover behind the desk.
He's out, right?
The goon thinks on the question before nodding, which is our first real glimpse into how the Joker operates. We just don't know it's him yet. He realizes the manager has 1 shot left and he was willing to sacrifice the other goon so he can get a clear opening to attack. It's deception, and it's a perfect demonstration of how the Joker deals with power throughout the entire film. We then get this slow dolly forward on the Joker after he shoots the bank manager, even though technically we still don't know it's him yet. He tilts his head and just stares at the wounded manager. And what makes the moment so unsettling is the contrast between the camera language and the behaviour itself. A push-in on a face generally means the filmmaker is emphasising an emotion, but there's nothing emotional about the Joker here. The shot feels cold, almost animalistic. And then Nolan delivers the visual punchline to the entire sequence. With just two goons left, one has gotten wise and thinks the other will just kill him. They circle each other, the Joker lining up the other goon.
What bus driver?
Suddenly, the robbery transforms into something almost absurd in its precision. It's the visual punchline, the cinematic equivalent of a magician stepping back on stage and saying, "Ta-da!" The bus driver is casually killed off within seconds, and now with every other goon removed from the scene, Nolan gives us our third introduction to the Joker, the reveal. The bank manager keeps mouthing off, and the Joker walks over to silence him. The manager asks him,
What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
The Joker answers the question while removing the mask, the magician finally showing the audience how the trick was done. It's a close-up and he completely dominates the frame, almost overwhelming it. After spending the entire sequence only hearing about him and hiding him in plain sight, Nolan finally reveals him in a way that tells us his very presence in this film is going to be overwhelming. But his line,
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
is the cherry on top of this opening scene. It's a warped corruption of the old saying,
It's so
what
fun
doesn't
to play
kill
the
you
Joker.
makes you stronger. And it perfectly showcases the Joker's worldview throughout the film. He believes chaos doesn't build people into better versions of themselves, that it distorts them, turns them into something else entirely. And after watching this entire robbery descend from perfect control into calculated chaos, Nolan ends the opening by finally letting the Joker say the thesis of the movie out loud. This is masterful filmmaking. Every camera move, the framing choices, the editing, the blocking of the actors, it's all subtly conditioning the audience before the Joker ever properly reveals himself. Nolan uses the language of cinema itself to slowly build an idea in our heads. First presence, then mythology, then revelation. We spend the entire movie knowing almost nothing about the Joker, while simultaneously understanding exactly who he is, and almost all of it is established in this opening scene.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, that movie is one of my favorites of all time. Like, genuinely, I used to watch that movie over and over again when I liked that. The Joker, Heath Ledger just killed that role. It's almost, that's one of the movies, it's like one of the rare times when the villain is kind of overshadowing the hero. Like, don't get me wrong, Batman, sick. You know, he's the man. But the Joker in this movie was just, oh, the best part, for sure. But I love that. That was good. Hoping we get more stuff like that on my, algorithm. But anyway, like, subscribe. Peace.